Hey, it's Chi. I had a couple requests on how to install the driving lights for a Mazda CX3. This is more of a DIY or how to install video. It's not my typical vlogs, but if you're interested, go ahead and take a look. So this is the DRL after it's been installed. And these are my old ones. I had these ones for about 7 years and they're still running strong, but I wanted to change it to have the signals like you saw in the beginning. So here's the first install, popping the hood. I also installed these hood dampers. If you're interested in these ones too, I have a how-to video on that. I'll link it at the end and also on the bottom for you guys. And these are the original DRLs. And these are the new ones. They come pre-wired and connected without instructions, so it's pretty hard to figure out. And it's also in Chinese, but I had an app that actually translated it, which helped a lot. It was on my phone. So that was the power box. This is the DRL with the built-in LEDs and turn signals. And right now I'm disconnecting the battery. You can see some of my wiring is kind of off here, but I fixed it up at the end. Removing the negative wire. And on the bottom you do have these 3 screws that are holding the cover. And it's actually a cool place because it gives you an access point to reach your fog lights and the assembly. And if you need to change your turn signals, it's also found in here as well. Alright, removing the plastic cover. There's a little kind of clip in the way. If you have jack stands or if you could elevate it, it'll be a lot easier. And it is held by 3 screws found here. It's kind of tight, so if you have a shorter screwdriver, you could kind of reach it. Removing the screws. And now popping the original assembly off. If you don't have the LEDs, it'll be the same way, but without the wires connected. Okay, after a little bit of prodding and popping them out, their clips are being held right here. It should pop right off. And here's the new DRL. The wires, there's the clips where it will be inserted in the little grooves or holes or whatever you call them. And now you want to feed your wire wherever you can. I found a little slot right on the side. And I did tape the side. I didn't like the bare wires hanging out, just to give it a little bit of moisture protection. Alright, so now it's popped into place. Just making sure everything is fully seated in. Sometimes you just gotta play and push it in, so it will eventually lock into place. Alright, once that's done, go ahead and screw it down. It's a weird angle, but again, if you're on jack stands or if it's elevated, it'll be a lot easier. Alright, now let's go ahead and go to the passenger side. So you're gonna go ahead and repeat the same steps, removing the same screws. This is a little bit awkward because the ground clearance was kind of bad since I'm on my driveway. It has a weird kind of hill. So everything was pretty much tight on here. Okay, and remove the cover. Apologize for the camera angles, it was awkward. So this is a pretty hard area to reach. I had to use a ratchet and a little kind of like stub where I could add a Phillips screw head. So I suggest if you have a little angle screw or something really short, you should be able to reach it. The thing is, we have this reservoir in the way, and it kind of is hard to get your hand placement in there. But once you get through it, you should be able to do the same and pop it out. All right, so I replaced it. Didn't bother showing how I did that. And here's the old one that I popped out. Okay, toss that to the side. Cheese. And here is the wire assembly pre-installed, like I said in the beginning. This is a yellow wire which you would install into your turn signals. I found these clamps on Amazon. They're called wire, can't read it, but it's like a wire clamp. You should be able to Google it. You could pause the video and take a look. And it just easy just to snap it right into your existing wire. And here is the wire setup. So you got to remember, the yellow wire goes to the passenger side and the green wire has to go into the driver's side. It took me a couple of tries to figure this out, so I kind of saved you some time by experimenting. Again, there was no instructions, but I was able to do it trial and error style. All right, so you want to go ahead and remove your turn signal, and you want to clamp this wire tap into the blue wire. And this is where you're going to get your power, and this is where it's going to feed and understand that it's a turn signal. All right, on the driver's side we have the green wire. Gonna snap that into place. And again, install it on the turn signal wire. Pop the bulb back in. Again, this is a lot of trial and error, so hopefully this saves you some time. All right, so now I'm connecting the wires. Doing both sides. Okay, this was my test fit. You have to kind of feed your wire through. It looks kind of ugly right now, but eventually you could clean it up, wire tie everything, and hide all the wires. So these are all test fittings to make sure it actually worked. Okay, now I'm going to make sure all the connections are correct by turning it on. I'm going to turn on the hazard light to see if both lights are illuminated with the yellow amber. Looks good so far. Nice. So both sides are blinking. Gonna stop the hazard, and now I'm gonna hit the turn signal to the left side and see if that is on. Looks good from here. And success. And now to the right side. Looks good from here, and it's working. And this side stayed white. All right, turning it off, and now they both should be white. Nice, they are now working. Okay, so if you want to plug it in, you should get these little wire or fuse taps. And I plugged it into the radio, which is located here. So it taps into the radio fuse. But if you notice that your radio don't work, you got to make sure that everything is seated in. That happened to me, and I thought my radio broke. All right, now I'm gonna solder all my wires together. This is optional. If you have those little butt clamps or wire clamps, you could do that, but I like to solder everything to make sure everything is nice and sealed. And of course, then I'll add electrical tape. Jeez, sorry, I can't think right now. Same thing on this side. And right here. The fuse is optional. It's kind of redundant, but I had that on my other setup, so I just re-added it back. Okay, there's a solder. It's a little horrible on the solder job. I had the wrong soldering, or I ran out of it, so I had to melt a little higher temperature one, but I got it done. Okay, and here's your fuse tap. Plugged everything back in, and I'm gonna double check. You always gotta keep checking, because if you have everything set up and it doesn't work, it gets frustrating. Testing again. Turning off the hazards, check to the left. Looks good. And that stayed on white. All right. Now to the right. Nice, it's working. And that stayed white. It's good. Alright, so now this is the final test. All the wires are all nicely tied down, making sure the fuse box is locked in. I turned on all my lights. Let's power up. My LED interior lights ambiance is working. That's good. Let's check the hazards. Hazards are on. Okay, that looks good. Mirror relay lights are working. underglow is working. Checking left. No problem here. Checking the back. Alright, everything is illuminated. Everything checks out so far. Now last is to check the right side. All lights are on. Brake light or reverse light, or the bottom light, I don't know what it's called, is on as well. Looks good. Go ahead and shut it down. And this project is done. If you like these kind of videos, please like, subscribe, comment, and follow along. I'll be doing more things next summer. Thanks for watching.